So recently, there's just been this huge debate about who's the greatest point guard of all time, Magic Johnson or Steph Curry. And, I thought the answer was obvious. I thought that the answer was, of course, Magic Johnson. And I feel like there's a lot of revisionist history going on in the history books in the NBA. I feel like a lot of people aren't taking accountability for their takes. They're saying things to like basically gaslight the fans. One thing you got to understand is this. When Steph Curry came into the league, even his most recent documentary came in, he came in basically underrated. He came in as a product unknown. He was one of those players that a lot of people felt they were taking a gamble on him. He was small. He had a Cinderella story at Davidson. And you're comparing him to a man in Irvin Magic Johnson who won a state championship in high school, whatever, won a national championship in Michigan. Magic came in. He was never underrated like Steph Curry was. He never came out of nowhere like Steph Curry did. Magic was always touted as the one of the best players in the nation, period. People would line up to go see him. And that national championship game they played against him and played against Larry Bird is still the highest ranked televised national championship game in college basketball history. Magic Johnson saved the NBA. Now, what can we say about Steph? Steph changed the NBA. He made the greatest change in the NBA. When you're looking at like their stats and everything like that, Magic doesn't lead in points. He averaged 19 points while Steph averaged 24.5. But Magic leads in rebounds and assists. And I think the one stat that is the most telling is value over replacement player. Magic is at 80. Steph Curry's at 65. That means the next value. So if you replace Magic, what's the value? What kind of value are you losing? And Magic was rated at 80. That's the kind of value you're losing over Steph's 65. I think what people fail to understand, especially with Magic Johnson, his career was cut short, due to, the complication, with his health. And I think that you have to understand, Magic did that in 11 or 12 seasons. He did 5 championships, 3 MVPs. I believe it was 2 or 3 finals MVPs in 11 or 12 years. Steph Curry's still writing his legacy. So right then and there, him being able to do so much and dominate the game at such an amazing pace. Like every year, he's either in the championship or winning the championship. Went to the finals 9 times, won 5 times. That within itself is a feat within itself. Because you got to understand, for some players go their whole career, like Steph Curry, still in his prime and everything like that. But you got to understand, in the beginning of his career, he wasn't as accomplished as Magic was. Magic won a championship at 20 years old, 20 years of age, and was able to win the Finals MVP at that young of an age. That just goes to show you how elite Magic was. What we're not really getting, the point we're not really getting is this. Steph Curry's shooting today is what Magic's passing was back then. So people would go to games just to watch Magic pass the ball. This is the same way that people today go to the game just to watch Steph Curry shoot the ball. Now, for Steph, shooting is an individual feat. It can help your teammates and everything like that. But them assists that Magic was getting, and on top of his scoring, that even enhanced and helped the team even further. The problem we have today is this. It's not the debate. The question is a fine question because, like it or not, eventually or, close to the point, Steph Curry can be in that argument. His career, his legacy is not complete yet. And I hate comparing players that are still playing to players who've written their legacy. Who knows? Steph might fall off a cliff and drop, a dud. You see what I'm saying? Or who knows? If Magic didn't have complications with his health, he might have won 6 championships, 7 championships. Who knows? But at least on Magic's side of the coin, we can say that his career is complete. Steph still has a lot to write. But the problem is the NBA sells stars and markets stars. They don't market history. The NFL markets history, tradition, teams. The NBA does not do that. once you have a player in the NBA and once they go and they leave, that we're right in the next chapter. Now we're on to Luka. Now we're on to LeBron. Forget about Jordan. Forget about those Showtime Lakers. The NBA does a terrible job of marketing that. And that's why a lot of Generation Z, a lot of millennial fans would outright say Steph Curry. Who could blame them when they say Steph Curry is the greatest point guard of all time? Because when you're thinking about skill-wise, Steph Curry, you could say, yeah, he could pass, he could shoot. You have to guard him when he steps, right across the court. He's scary. You could say, yeah, he's better than Magic. But then when you look at the impact Magic had, saving the NBA so you can actually have a Steph Curry in the future, allowing guys like Magic paved the way for LeBron, Kevin Durant, guys over 6'8", 6'9", be able to dribble and handle the ball. Him doing that has a tremendous impact, and that goes unsaid because the NBA is not going to replay their games. They're not going to show you his highlights. They're not going to make a big fuss about what he did. It's so sad because think about this. They just recently created an award for the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. One is the Urban Magic Johnson Award. One is the Larry Bird Award. This should have been done years and years ago, but it just shows you how behind the times it is when the NBA, because the NBA they face forward. They market forward. They don't market past players. So when Steph Curry retires, they're done with him. When LeBron retires, they're done with him. They're even going to try to, rewrite history. Like when Kobe retired, you saw the disrespect, how he was never the greatest player. Oh, LeBron has been the greatest player for 12 plus years. How is he the greatest player for 12 plus years? And Kobe won 2 championships when LeBron was in his prime winning MVPs. How was he the best player? That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of revisionist history. But that's the problem. That's the dilemma we're facing in this whole argument. Where it's not a real argument because both one is still playing. They play in different eras. And we're not even factoring longevity in terms of one had a physical ailment that derailed their career, but they still was able to make such an impact. And the other is still writing their legacy. And we don't know. You see what I'm saying? Like, what if Steph has a bunch of terrible playoff games and gets swept or something like that? That changes the way you look at them. So that's where I stand on it. To me, I still feel Magic is the greatest. I'm not going to fault somebody for saying that Steph is their MVP because you got to understand a lot of people still haven't seen a lot of highlights on Magic, didn't watch those games, didn't see those 40-point triple-doubles, didn't see him winning that championship at 20, as opposed to now you can see that stuff live and live in color. And that's the NBA's fault. They got to do a better job. But, another thing, too, is like we're comparing a guy that's 6'9" to a guy that's like 6'3". Like, where did we ever start doing that? You know what I'm saying? Best point guards or best small guys under 6'3", I'm going to say Steph, period. But in terms of overall point guard, Magic was a unicorn. And the amount of passes that he was giving guys that was giving them, essentially, they were open. Everything he passed to guys, for the most part, they were open. Guys were getting open layups. Tons and tons of layups. Both play with super teams, so you can't make that argument. Magic came into a super team. Steph eventually got one with Durant. You could say Steph helped build a super team or whatever the case, or he was homegrown. But Magic came in there and won a championship at 20. Who's doing that? Who's Junction? Where Hoops meets Hoopla.